Hello. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all right. How's everyone doing? Well done for making it to Friday or Saturday morning, depending on where you're hanging out. I've thrown some lipstick on to I've got actually it doesn't look too bad in this light. I'm very, very red. I managed a 5K today though, which is exciting. I've been doing the couch to 5K, but like running a little bit further than you kind of need to for it. Because I was running a little bit before lockdown, and tonight managed to get my first 5K out and did it in 33 minutes, which I feel like is all right. And my legs were a bit tight. So I reckon I could do it a bit faster than that if I'd had a rest day. But yeah, my shins were like not stretched enough. But yeah, I'm really pleased with that. Really pleased. Yeah, was really happy. So thanks for all your happiness there. Human Herbal discovered your car has a flat battery because you haven't been exercising it. Oh yeah, I should check mine. I've moved it every couple of weeks when I've taken Grandpa some food, but worked from the couch to the kettle a bunch today. Well, I'm normally really active. Like when I'm working and I'm out and about, I'm walking everywhere. I love sort of being busy, and I go to the gym a lot. I really like weightlifting. I love weights. I find that really like because I have trouble concentrating. I find weights really good because you're doing short, sharp, repetitive bursts, if that makes sense. So instead of it being like, oh God, for the next half an hour I've got to run, it's like pick this up 10 times and then I've done it. And I kind of really enjoy that. But yeah, obviously I can't get to the gym and I can't see my PT lady, Jenny, who looks after me. So yeah, running was good. I'm really pleased with that. I've got to do that twice more before the move. Yay, exciting. This time next week, I'll be in the house. So yeah, just to clarify next week, I think we'll do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we'll have to have a long weekend off. We'll have to have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off just to get the broadband settled and get moved in and done, and then we can resume the story. So there'll be 3 more episodes next week, and then we'll have a little break, and then come back and see where we are. So let's get to tonight's chapter. Um, I don't want to give you too many clues, to be honest. Let's just see how it goes, shall we? It sort of ended on a note yesterday, didn't it? I swear, though. Anyway, we'll talk more about the options afterwards. I didn't want to tell you about the vote options yesterday because I didn't want to cloud your voting decisions for today. But we'll see how today goes. Uh, Ben says, "Can you set up a YouTube feed so we can all just sit here and worry?" Worry about what? What are you worrying? Don't worry. Nobody worry. Chris does tell Fiona now. I love the fact, by the way, that Dirk has popped in to say hello and then has had to go, "Happy birthday to your mum," by the way, when you're watching this on catch up. Um, which is it's lovely. Happy birthday. I hope she has a lovely party. There's so many new people voting now. It's really interesting. All the people watching it sort of on catch up are just popping in. I think like if you are watching it a little bit later and you want to join in, don't feel like just because you can't be asked with the comments or like don't want to get chatting that you can't vote if you feel like it. And obviously don't feel any pressure to vote if you don't want to. Elliot, you're worried about Elliot. I'm not going to kill a dog, guys. If every character in this book dies, the dog will survive. I promise you that. Okay? There you go. Wow, what do you think of me that you think I would kill off the dog just for giggles? I'm a nice person. Right. Let's we better read the chapter, hadn't we? 10 now, isn't it? Okay, right, here we go. See what you think. I think I've been nice to you today. Emma licked her lips, looking at her friend twirling happily in her purple dress in the middle of the shop. It looked like a scene from a child's imagination, the princess in her dress dancing amongst the sparkling Christmas scene. Emma felt the unruly tears pricking at the back of her eyes yet again as her heart rate increased, and a creeping heat raced across the skin of her chest and arms. It occurred to her that this noticeably increased proximity to tears was coming hand in hand with caring about the people around her. She'd always been proud of herself for not crying at all, but now she was beginning to see that a lack of tears in her life had perhaps just indicated a lack of things she cared about. The sight of Fiona in front of her, happy, excited, and dangerously close to a precipice of disappointment, was truly awful. Heartbreaking felt like an overblown word to use, but as she watched and felt the physical pain behind her ribs, it was the only word that felt applicable. It's gorgeous, she muttered through a cracking throat. I love it, Fiona gushed. I just feel perfect in it, you know? I feel so dainty and fun. I can't wait to wear it. I'm going to go take it off before I spill something on it and spoil it before I've even worn it. Fiona skipped down the stairs and Emma watched her go. She felt desolate, at once filled with a twitching energy, but also block heavy, fireflies encased in concrete. Emma stared at the door down to the staff room and pleaded with herself to get this right. Slowly, she dragged herself over to the glass shop door and shot the bolt, turning the sign round to indicate the shop's closure. Then she took a deep breath and headed down the stairs after Fiona. Are you decent? She called into the staff room through the half open door. Almost. You all right? Fiona's voice was muffled. Emma hesitated another few seconds and then pushed the door open and took a seat in front of one of the little stools. Fee, I've just shut the shop for a second. I need to have a word. Emma's fingertips felt freezing. She hoped all the blood was rushing to her brain to help her construct this conversation. She wanted to savour every moment before she said what she had to say, knowing that these could be the last few moments of her friendship with Fiona if things went badly again. You're right, Em. You look white as a sheet. Fiona was pulling on her top and dragging a stool over to sit by Emma. She took one of Emma's hands in her own. What's happened? Emma swallowed and did her best to look Fiona full in the face. I talked a little bit to Helen when we put the tree into her car. Fiona stiffened. Right. She told me. She said that after the boat day, when she'd kicked Norman out, Norman had turned back up at the house asking her to take him back. Emma paused, eyeing Fiona for signs of reaction. Fiona's back was tense and frozen, but her face remained passive. Emma continued. She wasn't sure if you knew that he'd done that. She said she noticed the ring that you're wearing, and she said Norman had offered it to her as a gift to try and persuade her to take him back. Fee, I'm so sorry. I don't know if she's telling the truth, obviously. I don't know, but it seems like she's trying to say he offered her the ring, and then when she said no, he took the same ring and tried to get back together with you. The silence in the staff room was crushing. It pressed into Emma's ears, causing a high whine. It smothered her chest and held her limbs in a tight squeeze. Fiona sat before her like a statue. That she'd not dropped Emma's hand was the only solace Emma could find in the entire scene. Minutes passed, and Emma sat, letting Fiona soak, waiting for a response. Eventually, Fiona's hand twitched and she retracted it from Emma's. Emma felt fear shoot through her spine. Fiona was still. Then she launched herself at Emma, flinging her arms around her and pressing her body into a desperate hug. Emma could feel Fiona sobbing against her, and she wrapped her arms around her, holding her tight and letting her weep. Fiona cried and cried, enormous body juddering sobs breaking over Emma like waves on a shore. Emma let her. She stroked Fiona's hair and rubbed slow, long roots down her back. Eventually, the energy and depth to Fiona's crying began to abate, and Emma let her lie against her in misery. She could feel the wetness from Fiona's tears through her uniform. Silence settled again in the staff room, only the sound of gentle breathing and the occasional damp sniff breaking the peace. Are you okay? Emma whispered, knowing the answer but needing to ask it anyway. Yeah. Emma was surprised to hear a small laugh in Fiona's answer. I'm a very stupid woman, aren't I? Emma squeezed her tighter again. No, you're not stupid at all. You're trusting, and that's different. You don't think there's much chance of her lying, do you? Fiona didn't sound hopeful, but Emma chewed the question over carefully anyway, to make sure she believed her own answer. I don't think so. I think if she was just out to hurt you or cause a fuss, she'd have wanted more of a scene. She said she was leaving it up to me whether I told you or not. So I think if she was trying to split you two up and make sure you were miserable, she'd have told you herself to make sure you knew. The spiteful thing to do would have been to shout at you in the shop when she saw the ring. Emma felt Fiona nodding against her, and then she shifted back on her stool and began working the ring off her finger. What do you want to do? Emma asked. Kill him? Emma laughed. Okay, I'm in. How? Oh, so many different ways, said Fiona. Emma laughed again and stood up to stretch her aching back. I feel so very, very stupid. Fiona looked like she might cry again, and Emma realised the fine line between Fiona's humour and her breaking point. I understand, Emma said carefully. But I want you to know you shouldn't. You gave him a chance, that's all. You hadn't declared everything to be brilliant. You were seeing how things went. Well, they've went badly. You'd only be stupid if you knew this now and carried on with him. Fiona nodded and pulled her phone out of her pocket. She tapped at the screen and then held the phone up to her head. Hello, love, it's me. Are you around today? Oh, that's nice. I was just wondering, do you think you could pick me up from work today? I got a splitting headache and it'd be nice not to get the bus. Is that okay? Oh, amazing. Thank you, darling. I'll see you later. She hung up the phone and Emma stared at her. Was that Norman? It was. I'm going to lure him down here and then have it out with him. If only I had time to organise a friggin' flash mob. Fiona stood up, straightened her uniform and made her way back up the stairs to the sales floor. Emma watched her go in amazement. This was exciting. There were barely 20 minutes of opening time left, but each separate, painful minute dragged its heels before ticking to completion. Emma watched Fiona undulate between stiff-lipped strength to wobbling misery several times in those 20 minutes. She kept repeating various sentences on the subject of how stupid she felt, and each time Emma leapt in to assure her that following your heart wasn't stupid or some such supportive sentiment. Watching Fiona and listening to the words coming out of her own mouth, she felt her resolve growing to enjoy spending time with Theo. So what if it didn't get off to the best start? So what if it's a bit weird that I moved here after him? It's not stupid of me to want to see where things go. I like him. He's nice. Why not? She felt curiously uplifted. It was finally time to close the shop, and Emma waited with Fiona on the pavement out front. Norman would arrive any minute now, and Emma was fizzing with anticipation at what to expect from Fiona. Fiona was cool as a cucumber. She stood mildly on the pavement, watching people pass by and scanning the road for signs of Norman's car. Eventually it pulled up. Norman climbed out of the driver's seat and made his way over to Fiona. Emma tensed. Oh no, it was all going so well. It was such a smooth read, and now I can't remember how to do a Newcastle accent. Newcastle, all right. Hello, you two. My, what a sight for sore eyes. How's your head, my darling? Norman leaned in to kiss Fiona, having done an over-the-top faux bow to Emma. Fiona stayed stock still. Are you all right? He asked, noticing the lack of reception from either of them. I'm not okay, no. I saw Helen today. She informed me that before you came to my door telling me how delighted you were to be rid of her, you first went to see her to see if she would take you back. She also told me that this ring, she held up her hand, waggling the ring in his face, was first offered to her. You then brought it round mine, and like a fucking idiot, I lapped up every word you said and put it on my finger. Norman stood, gaping at her, jaw working, but no words developing on his tongue. Fiona took a breath and continued, You are a lying, cheating, slimy, money-obsessed bastard, Norman, and I am done with you. We are over. I am more than you could ever offer me. Fiona pulled the ring off her finger, and for a horrified moment Emma thought she was going to fling it in the street. But Fiona was cannier than that. She marched towards Norman's car and began scraping the diamond down the side, leaving an enormous scratch in the paintwork. Norman shrieked, What are you doing, you mad woman? Stop it! He lurched towards Fiona, but she whipped around and stared him into stillness. Hang on, Wheels. Don't you come near me. No, that's still Newcastle, isn't it? Hang on. All right, Ness. Don't you come near me. Don't you? No, fucking hell. Oh, the accents. All right, Stella. All right, Ness. How's it going, mate? Don't you come near me. Don't you come near me. I can't get back into Welsh at all. I don't think I could ever upset you or hurt your feelings. Right, don't you come near me. Don't you touch me. I don't think I could ever upset you or hurt your feelings, Norman, because I'm not entirely sure you have any. But I can ruin something you like. You see this? She gouged another huge scrape down the car, hatching across it in great sweeping slashes. This is how I feel inside. You feel this sadness about your precious car? That's how you made me feel about myself. Maybe you can understand when you see it in money form. You've made me feel stupid and worthless. When I'm done, well, I'm done. I don't want to hear from you again. She scribbled viciously at the car with the ring and then paced back to Emma. I want my ring back, Norman shouted after her. Fiona spun on her heel to face him. You can absolutely get fucked on that account. It was a gift. She dropped the ring into her pocket, took Emma's arm, and they marched off. It wasn't the direction of the bus stop that either of them needed, but Emma didn't say anything. A few people had gathered on the street and were gaping at the drama. One was even filming. Emma made a mental note to do some Googling later on and see if they became internet famous. They walked for a few minutes until Emma felt like Fiona had had time to catch her breath and calm down. Are you okay? She asked her. Fiona nodded, eyes shining. I am. I thought you were going to throw that ring at him, Emma giggled. Scratching the car was inspired. Throw it? Are you joking? It's worth a fortune. I'll be selling this the first chance I get. You and I are going for a very expensive meal on Thursday. There you go. You got what you wanted. You've got your breakup. There you go. Kim says it's only a ruby. Don't fuck up the ring before you sell it. No, well, it's a diamond in the middle. It's a diamond with rubies around the edge. So the diamond should be okay, I think. Some hasty Googling assured me. And anyway, she's mad. She's furious. So there you go. See now, so now I can talk to you about the voting that's already happened, right? The when I gave you the options, so when I gave you volume, pain, water, money, or cloth, I'd sort of had in my head for a while, from the second he gave her the ring and from when I'd sort of written it that he'd taken a few days to organise the flash mob, I sort of had in my head that he was going to have tried it with Helen first, and none of the votes dissuaded that from happening. So I was sort of thinking, all right, okay, so that's going to happen. And then when I gave you those options, I thought, right, the first four are going to be Helen tells Fiona and Fiona's going to have it out with Norman. So Pain, she was just going to like smack him, like go properly crazy beating him in the street. Volume, she was going to shout at him, like absolutely go crazy yelling at him. Money, she was going to like trash the ring in front of him. And water, she was going to throw a bucket of water at him in the street. And I thought, like, oh, is it a bit, have I like controlled the plot too much by not giving an option where, you know, like not so that, you know, there were lots of different ways it could have happened, but I controlled the plot because that was lovely. So I thought, well, I'll throw cloth in there. And then if they pick cloth, she has decided to take Norman back. She's bought a dress to go out with him, and she doesn't have the showdown. And then, of course, cloth fucking won, didn't it? So I was sort of thinking, like, oh no, she's going to have to. Right, that's the way it's going to be. But I still wanted to do the ring thing, so I thought, okay, well, we'll let the ring. Helen or tell Emma. So then, what I had in my head, I thought, if you vote that she tells us straight away, I'll give it a happy sort of response. If you'd waited until after the dinner, Fiona was going to be furious with Emma for knowing for a few days without telling her. She was going to be really livid. If it had been get Norman to tell him, I was going to have a scene where Emma gets Jack's advice on what to do. So you've kind of lost yourselves an evening with Jack there. She was going to ask Jack what to do and have a dinner with him while they discussed it. And then if it was don't tell her, I was going to leave Norman and Fiona together for the rest of the book. So you really are controlling the plot, because if you'd voted for don't tell her, she was never going to find out, and that was it. Norman and Fiona was the plot. So You really are in control, which is exciting. So yeah, we got to where I thought it would go eventually, but we just had an extra bit of a detour. But it's quite exciting. It's really interesting writing like this. It's quite fun. So yeah, you just met Kim. You voted for the Jack option. John says, "Damn, that'd be bad." Yeah, at least you don't need to do a Geordie accent anymore. I know. Do you know what? The Geordie accent, it's not too bad because I've got some Geordie friends. So I sort of like channeling like Gavin Webster and Sarah and Lauren in my head. But then I just can't, I can't get back into Welsh from Geordie. They're too similar. I can't do it. Um, right. So your options. I thought as it's a bank holiday weekend, not that it makes any difference to my life, but as it's a long weekend and it is a weekend, your options are choose a cocktail. So you can have a think about what subliminal messaging there is in these cocktail choices. Your cocktail choices are raspberry daiquiri, Pornstar martini, espresso martini, old fashioned, or a pina colada. So there you go. You can choose one of those cocktails, and that will have an effect on what happens in the next chapter. So yeah, there you go. Choose a cocktail: raspberry daiquiri, pornstar martini, espresso martini, old fashioned, or pina colada. So you can decide. I was thinking actually, when we do get to the end of this, I might have a look into whether or not I could get versions of it bound, like as a bit of a memento, and maybe sort of, I see how cheaply I could get it done, and maybe we could get them printed, and then we could buy them for charity. Maybe donate the money to the Trussell Trust. That doesn't feel right. Tussle Trust, a charity anyway. Maybe do that kind of thing. That could be quite nice. So if you like, would you buy one if there was a readable copy of this, just as a memento of, does anybody want a memento of quarantine? I'll have a look into it if it's popular, and we'll see. Trestle Trust, thanks Ben. I knew it didn't sound right. Trussell Trust, Trustle. Anyway, wittering now. You could tell it's Friday, can't you? So there you go. As it's Friday, I will put my coffee link in the comments. Thank you very much to Chris and Claire who did donate earlier on today, as it was their payday. That's very kind of you. I hope no one feels any pressure to ever donate. It is absolutely fine if you can't or just don't want to. I completely understand. Yeah, I'll pop the link in. But yeah, all right, I'll have a look into books then. There's quite a few yeps happening in there. So I'll have a look into that and see. I mean, it might just be so crazy expensive that it wouldn't be worth doing it, but I'll have a look. Right. There you go. I'll put the question in the comments as ever, and have a lovely weekend. And I'll see you on Monday. Take care, guys. Bye.